All right. Subscribe and follow Reality with the King wherever you get your podcast. In addition to Namaste, bitches.
Yeah, I like it. I
That was
love it.
awesome, Carlos. Thank
Yay!
you.
You're
Wait,
welcome.
Carlos, finally I get to see you. It's been so long. Oh my God.
I know. Look, Teresa, obviously you are one of the loves of my life. You know that.
Ditto.
We started out together. So, Melissa, let me give you a quick backstory on the Teresa and Carlos King relationship. So, long story short, I did one season of Atlanta Housewives. I get a phone call that Bravo may be doing a Real Housewives of New Jersey, right? So then it was like, okay, I'll do it. I live in New York, so this should be fun. Like, that was my thing. Like, this should be fun. Long story short, Melissa, every producer gets assigned a housewife. Guess who I had, Melissa?
No way. I'm hoping you say Teresa, not Danielle.
Oh, you're gonna gag. I had Teresa and Danielle.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Right?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
You didn't get paid enough for that, Carlos. You didn't get paid enough for that.
No, I was this little whippersnapper just trying to make it in the business, and the rest is history. So, Teresa, I
was
am
easy.
so happy.
I was right, Carlos. I was easy. I was so easy.
You were super easy and you were super fun. And one thing that I want the audience to know, and you too, Melissa, and Melissa, I'm sure you know this now as well, working with Teresa on your podcast, Namaste Bitches, is the fact that Teresa is still down to earth. She's always been the sweetest. And I will always defend Teresa because I know the real Teresa. She's a good girl. She's a family girl. She's a great mom. And it's time that the world really understands who you are, Teresa. So I'm thankful that you and Melissa decided to come on Reality with the King. This is a big deal for me. And we're just going to have fun.
Big deal for me,
That was
too.
amazing. Carlos,
Yeah.
that was really nice. I mean, it's funny that you said, that was amazing that you said that. And two, I couldn't agree with you more. And I say this all the time. People are like, you watch Jersey, you watch The Housewives, you've seen Teresa on for a decade. What is Teresa like? What that you don't see on the show? And it's exactly what you were saying. Like, she is down to earth, she's chill, she is namaste. Listen, for the most part, we all get a little crazy, but there are definitely more times where Teresa is telling me to like chill the F out than I am telling her to like, why are you so crazy? Like, she's always like, Melissa, why are you so like, what's going on? So it's definitely been, it's different working with her than what you see on The Housewives, for sure.
Well, the reason why you're like that, babe, just, because you have little babies, so it's hectic,
Yeah. Listen, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. I do have two, as I was telling Carlos, I do have two little maniacs under 5. So
That's a lot.
But again, we'll throw it on the kids, take the kids away. I'm still a lunatic, but we can blame it on the fact that I have 2 small children. But yes, I am like that and always here. And Teresa's always like, just chill out, just like namaste.
Yes, and that's the reason why I love the podcast you guys have together, because again, it's the Teresa who I know. So to see you and Melissa have these conversations is so great. And Teresa, one of my first episodes of the podcast, I did my greatest housewives of all time.
Ah.
And you made the top 10 list, Teresa. Did you know this?
No, I didn't know that.
So you are number 2, Teresa.
Ah! Wait.
Who's won?
I know who's won.
Who do you think?
Ramona. Nene.
Nene.
I knew it, Carlos. I knew it.
It was.
Yeah, it was either between me and her. I didn't know. Yeah. Because you had them first. Did you have them first?
I had Atlanta first. But Teresa, how does it feel to know that you made it on my top 10 list of the greatest housewives of all time?
It feels good. It feels really good. Thank you. I love you. No, because listen, I've been on Housewives now for a long time, going on to season 13. And Carlos, I think I don't know if you know, but it hasn't been fun for me. Season 1 and 2, I was just getting my feet wet, and then all the darkness hit. And so this wasn't fun for me. It really wasn't. So I'm glad that you're here to shed the light, to say the truth of like who I really am, because I feel like, everyone thinks they know me from the Housewives, but they don't really know the real Teresa, because I've always, season 3 on, Melania's calling me. I'm gonna say call Louie. Season 3 on, I've been, I've had people come after me, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've watched it, season 3 on. So it's like, so I feel like everybody didn't get the real true Teresa that I wish they would have, Listen, I know drama's going to happen, but, I was, like I said, I was just getting my feet wet. And then unfortunately my family came on, and I'm so happy that you finally said the truth about how that happened, because I've been wanting the truth to come out for over 10 years.
Wow.
And you know what, too? Can I add to that, Carlos and Teresa? Because, she hasn't been saying stuff. I mean, we have a podcast for her to talk about things, and she's still not saying stuff. So all these people are like, Teresa does this to them and this to them. Teresa could have opened her mouth a long time ago about certain things that I don't even know about. And she hasn't. Even on our own podcast, on interviews, on everything. So I think people need to understand that too. Like, she has a platform. She can definitely be vocal and use it. And to go against and say things that, against others, she has not. So I think that speaks to her and who she is as well.
And this is another thing. I mean, if I sound weird, because it feels weird speaking with these headphones on. So what I wanted to say is, I always wanted the truth to come out, because it was I'll say it was my sister-in-law saying, saying what she had to say. And then it was me saying what I had to say. But I needed someone to validate the truth, because it was her word against mine. So that, and that's why she got away with it all these years, because it was just, it was between me and her. So nobody knew who was telling the truth. And that's why it was so frustrating to me. And I didn't even think to ask you, Carlos. Like, I didn't even think, like I should have. But I knew Andy Cohen called me, and I guess he didn't want to get involved or whatever, which I understand, because he was the one that called me to tell me that they were coming on the show. My sister and my cousin. So, but I remember season 2, you kept telling me, you're like, your sister-in-law keeps DMing me. And I was like, right? Or was it Facebook or DM that she kept contacting you? All right. So Facebook, because this was Facebook time. And you're like, she keeps contacting me. And I was like, why is she contacting you? That's so weird. And I didn't even back then, that's how naive I was. I wasn't putting 2 to 2 together that she was trying to get herself on the show. Like, and meanwhile, I was telling her everything that was happening on the show. She knew everything about Danielle. Her and Kathy knew everything that was going on, because I was speaking to them. And then once I got on the TV show, that's when I got really busy. And then my family, like what happened to Teresa, because I wasn't around as much as I was. And then that's when all this jealousy happened. I mean, I'm calling a spade, because then they started contacting Carlos King. I don't know if Kathy was probably the same thing, because her and Kathy, Melissa and Kathy got casted together. So I know that Melissa was contacting Carlos King, because he was telling me, he's like, your sister-in-law is, contacting me. And I'm like, and I didn't understand why, and then afterwards, after they got on the show, then I was like, that's why she was doing that. And then the whole sprinkle cookie thing, that was her way of getting herself on the show. Like everybody doesn't know the truth, how this all happened. This happened I was, I met, my sister-in-law comes over. Now Joe's whole family's over at my house. And Joe's mother is the one that said, who brought these cookies? And I was like, and she's like, oh, your sister-in-law. Like these are and my mother-in-law is the one that threw them in the garbage because she said nobody, she was like, nobody eats at these shit the cookies, like the way she talks,
Your mother-in-law wanted to be a housewife. Look at that. She was plotting the whole time.
No, but my point is my mother-in-law was saying like, so here I am trying to be a good sister-in-law and I'm telling I'm telling Melissa, I'm like, because Joe Stanley was kind of making fun of her because she brought sprinkle cookies from like, in that plastic container instead of going to the bakery and getting, real pastries. Okay. So here I am trying to be like a good sister-in-law and telling her, I'm trying to give her advice. Like next time you come over, like if you're going to play the part, and have the nice house and like dress nice and have the,
also you were helping her to get a position on the show. Wow.
Not a position on the show, just a position in life. You understand? I was like,
gotcha. Okay.
Like I was just being a good sister-in-law to her, like a position, like, like just giving her good advice. Like, I'm like, Melissa, if you're going to play the, part, like have a nice house, dress nice, dress your kid nice, you got to bring nice desserts. Do you understand? I get it. Like you get it, because some people don't understand my language. It's like you have to round off the like complete it all the way around. Don't go halfway. Do you understand?
Yes. No,
I get it. Am I saying it right?
I love you, Teresa.
No, listen, Teresa. I've been with you since day one, which is 2009. So I understand the language of Teresa.
Thank you.
Don't you worry. Don't you worry. So
I want to get the true story.
So let's talk about the truth. Let's talk about the truth. Okay. So, and listen, this isn't to bash anybody. I don't have any issues with Melissa and Joe. I don't know them personally. This is just me and my friend Teresa, along with our mutual friend now, Melissa, having a conversation. So this is the truth of the matter. It is true. Me and Melissa are Facebook friends. And the reason why we're Facebook friends is because in 2009, 2010, she did friend request me as a Facebook friend because she knew I was a producer on the Real Housewives of New Jersey. And she would message me. That is the truth. And that's no shade. I'm not going to disclose what the messages were because that's being messy, but Teresa is right. And what I will say is this. After I left season 2, I was in Chicago working with Oprah Winfrey behind the scenes for her network, right? And me and Teresa are super close, and I'm her producer, so we're like very close. And it is true. Teresa did call me because she did receive a phone call that her sister-in-law and brother were joining the show, and she found out by the producers. That is the truth. And Teresa was, I don't want to get emotional, but Teresa was very emotional and nervous because she didn't listen. This is my opinion, Teresa. You can obviously answer this. When you called me, I felt that you were just hurt by not knowing about it. And number 2, you were just like, what is going on? Like, I don't want to, you kept saying to me, I do not want to fight with my family, Carlos. Like, that's my family. Like, I don't want to fight with them because I think at that time you knew, like, look, drama's drama. I can flip the table on Danielle. I can go toe-to-toe with the best of them. I do not want to go toe-to-toe with my family. And as an avid viewer of Jersey since I left, I know for a fact, and I'm not going to cry, I know for a fact that your mom and father, this is not what they wanted to see.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's why all these like past over 10 years, I kept my mouth shut a lot. I mean, I could have, what do you think? I mean, my nerves were, I could have went more crazier than I was because I was like, this is not what my family's really about. And I was like, I don't want to show America this. Like if my brother and Melissa came on the right way, I would have loved to show America how it was when me and my brother grew up. You remember, Carlos? I used to always tell you, me and my brother were best friends growing up.
Yes.
Best friends. Everyone used to be so jealous of our relationship. They used to ask my brother and I, and then I'm sure he would vouch for that. They'll be like, oh my God, like, how come you and your brother are so close? Like, how do you have that relationship? And we just did. It's just, we just always had respect for each other. My parents always used to tell us you only have the two, each other. So you should always, respect and honor each other, which we always did. And then I always say it like this, and I don't know if people understand where everything went to shit was the reason why I always say is family and fame and money ruined my family. I said that, bravo, Khan. And why I'm saying that is because, let me now explain it, fame and money, because my brother and Melissa came on the show to become famous and because they're getting a nice paycheck. So that's when I say fame and money ruined our family, because that's what ruined our family. Not that I ruined the family, because I really didn't. Because when they came on the show, like the christening was the first episode. And that's when my brother went crazy on me. And I was like, and then I just recently saw my friend, and I'm going to say it. I'm going to say this. I just saw my friend, Lisa G, that she was there for my kids. I just put it on my Instagram. She was really there for my kids when I was in jail. And she took my kids all over New York City. She had an apartment in the city. They spent time in her apartment. She wined and dined my kids. She really did. She was the best. She was an aunt that they never had. She really was. And I wanted to praise her because, I just wanted her to know, because I'm indebted to her for life, because she was there for my kids when I was in jail. She really was. And my mother was so close to her. And my mother said to her, which the other night, she told me this and I started crying. She said, your mother told me, after the christening, because my mother opened up to her, my mother told her everything, that, your brother did that at the christening because he wanted to be like you. When you flipped the table and I became so popular. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, that's so, I know my mother would say that to I know that's, my mother never said that to me. Do you understand? My mother never said that to me. Because you know why my mother never said that to me? My mother wanted to keep the peace.
Yes.
She wanted to keep the peace between me and my brother. So Carlos, I swear to God to you, I never watched the show. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows I never watched the show because I couldn't stand watching. And you know what? I think that was a blessing in disguise for me not to watch the show. Because if I would have watched, because now I'm starting to watch the show and I'm watching everything that my brother and Melissa said about me. It's heart-wrenching, devastating. It's the worst. I can't even believe my brother and Melissa would say things like that about me. I swear to God, when I see it now that I'm watching it, it's like that's why I think I didn't watch it, because then I would have got more upset. It would have been more fighting, and it would have hurt my parents even more. Yeah. And when my brother said that my ex put my mother in the grave, no, that took years away from my life. My parents seeing me and my brother fighting, that took years away from my parents' life, because no parents want to see their brother. No parents want to see their children, only two children fight.
Yeah.
And it was only the four of us. It was a small family. And then of course my father had that, his one sister, Kathy's mom, that you saw what happened with that, again, fame and money. And I don't need a cousin that, to do that to me either, so we stopped talking to them. So my only family was my parents and my brother and I. That's my only family. And then to watch this now, it's I'm really spilling my guts out right now. I'm spilling my guts out because it's
I think it's important, and I'm sure that's why you and Melissa Feaster are so close, because one thing I know about you, Teresa, and this is even going back when I first met you, you wear your heart on your sleeve, and you're such a good person. And I saw firsthand how your parents adored you. You did everything for your mom and dad. I remember having a meeting with your daughters. You probably don't remember this. I had a meeting with your daughters in front of you, and I said, stop being mean to your mom. She's all you have. And she's such a good mom. And you girls will grow up understanding that your mom is the best thing in the world. Stop being a brat. Cut your mom some slack. Because I saw the relationship that you have with your mother. And listen, like I said, I'm not here to bash anybody. This isn't for that because it's namaste, bitches. Yes. but I really want people to know that you've always been a good girl. I remember the early days of us shooting season 1. You and Jacqueline used to talk every single day at 6:00 in the morning for 2 hours. You would tell Jacqueline, hold on, I got to do something. And Jacqueline will hold on for 30 minutes until you got back. Melissa Feaster, this is truly what happened. Like,
listen, I know, I understand.
Is that y'all relationship now?
I understand.
Like,
we were talking the other day, and
Teresa?
Like,
yeah.
Teresa and I are in a serious conversation the other day, and she's like, "Hold on, do you have that in like a size 8?" I'm like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I had to get shoes." I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Wait, like shoes for my kids? You mean?
I don't know what you're doing, Teresa. But like, just kick it. Just...
No, I know, and Melissa. That's why I just adore Teresa. And again, season 1, I remember Teresa just wanted to have fun. She was like, "Look, Carlos, I'm here to have fun. My best friend Dina's on the show. I love Jacqueline. Her sister Caroline's cool. You know, I don't know Danielle, but hey, she's good TV. Like, it'll be fun." And fast forward to the infamous table flip. So Melissa Feaster, let me tell you this, because I never told anyone this. So Teresa, you're going to be so
Carlos, you have both of them. These are your two.
I have both of them. So after Teresa flipped the table, she calls me, Melissa Feaster, and she said, "So what do you think?" I said, "Teresa, you are going to go down in history as one of the best women in reality television." I said that table flip is going to be the most iconic moment in reality television. And Teresa's like, "You think so? You think?"
No,
and
no. Remember, Carlos, I was so upset that I did that. I was like, that's really like, is that? I was like, oh my God, Carlos, I'm so sorry. I didn't want to do that. And I was like, I'm like, I never did that before. I'm like, but I got so angry, and I'm like, is that going to make me look bad? I was asking him all this, and then he was saying, and then right, because you're missing all that.
Yeah. And I said, "You are going to be the biggest star in the world." And Melissa, she was like, "Are you like?" It did not even compute. She was like, "I don't know what you mean by that." I said, "Oh, trust me, bitch. You are going to be major." And 14 years later, you are still the OG of the show. So let's talk about this podcast, Namaste Bitches, because I want my audience to know too, like, obviously your co-host and friend named Melissa, which I love the irony, but how did this come about, this friendship?
Wait, and I want Melissa to answer this, but I just want to also put out there, because I've been saving this for the right time, and this is the right time because Carlos is on, Melissa, and you see how much he means to me. There's 2 things. First thing, Carlos, I already told you this. I'm so sorry I didn't invite you to the wedding. He's someone that he was always in my mind that I always wanted to invite. I was like, if I ever got married again, and you see, I missed him, you see, and I'm like, fuck, I'm so sorry. Can I say fuck?
Yes, you can.
All right,
yes.
So Carlos, I already apologized to you the other day. So I love you so much, and so you were there in my soul and spirit, because you know I wanted you to be there, and I wish you would have called me, because I would have said, "Oh my God!"
Oh no!
Yes.
And the thing is this: I said to Teresa, because she's so sweet, I said, "Our friendship is not predicated on me getting an invite to your wedding." I said, I know that a bride has a lot going on. I said, "Teresa, you and I are friends forever, and we don't have to talk every single day for me to know that you love me." So no apology is needed, sister. And when you have your 1-year wedding anniversary, bitch, I am coming to Jersey, and we're gonna party.
Louis said he wants to renew our vows every year, so you're coming to one. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So then the next thing, and then Melissa will go into how we met. I just want to put out there, there is a God. There is a God, because look, I couldn't stand that name, Melissa. You know why? Obviously, because of my sister-in-law. And look, God brought a beautiful Melissa into my world, like a beautiful Melissa that I adore. I love her, like best friend, sister. like we were meant to be. And you see, and now I love saying that name. I love saying Melissa. I don't mind it. I'm at peace with it. I'm so at peace with it. I love Melissa. I love Melissa.
I love Melissa too.
Yes.
Thank you. I love you both. That was so nice. Teresa.
All right. So tell them how we met. Okay.
Well, I mean, I don't even know how I follow that one up. I mean, geez. Yeah. So Melissa, obviously Teresa was destined to have a Melissa that she really loved in her life. My other podcast, Side Piece, I had Teresa's attorney, whom I love a lot. He's incredible. I had him on and we just became friends. And, you know, Carlos, like, you do this. Like, I like to do it because I like to meet cool people and develop friendships and all this stuff. So I like to be cool with people I have on and get to know them. And we got close talking and like just forming a cool relationship. And I said, I want to do more. Like, you work with Teresa. There's so much more to Teresa than the freaking housewives. I think this is a good time for her to do more than just the housewives. Let's do this. I've been podcasting. I like to do this. Let's go. Like, let's make something happen with Teresa. And you know how, I mean, it takes forever, right? There's lots of conversations. Teresa and I met for the first time. I went to the Ultimate Girls Trip premiere here in LA. I was Cynthia Bailey's date because I got to know Cynthia well through having her ex, Mike Hill, on my podcast. Mike couldn't go. Cynthia called me last minute and said, will you be my date, my +1? I go to Ultimate Girls Trip premiere. Teresa's attorney, Jim, calls me and says, listen, Teresa's going to be there. This is, you guys can meet, talk, see how it goes. And then I was like, oh shit, how's this bitch going to be? Like, cool. Is she going to be, I didn't know. You don't know, right? You don't know. You're just watching somebody on TV. She was, and I'm not just saying this because she's here. Teresa knows I'll say anything to her face. She was so warm right from the get-go and genuine and caring and so nice to meet you. And some others weren't. Okay. And she and Louis both were beyond incredible. And then the relationship with Teresa just started from there then.
Yeah, no, listen, Cynthia Bailey, another one of my loves. It's like the 2-degree separation of Carlos King. I got Teresa and Cynthia. I love it. So Melissa, I'm now a part of your life. So we're going to be sisters too. So it's
I love it.
Perfect. No, and I'm glad you shared that because there's a lot of reality stars, some I worked with, who aren't nice.
Yes.
They think they're Julia Roberts level of celebrity.
Yes.
And they're just not nice people. And one thing I will say that I'm glad you said, Melissa, is the fact that Teresa is a cool chick. And I don't think Teresa, at least back then, Teresa, but I'm curious of what happened now. Back then, Teresa had no idea how famous she was. She would still go to the grocery store, go to the local shops to buy her daughter's wardrobe. And I'd be like, Teresa, you're like the biggest star in New Jersey, bitch. You need to like get security. She's like, no, Carlos, I like being myself. Now, Teresa, do you still go to the supermarket? Do you go to the mall by yourself? Do you have a bodyguard? Do you understand that you're a big fucking star?
No, I still do the same thing I did before. Yes.
She gets her granola at the local mall.
Yeah,
I mean,
my favorite granola is at the Short Hills Mall. Yes, I do. I don't have security. I just do everything on my own. She goes to
a kid's soccer game, sits there. She calls me from the soccer games, calls me from the mall, calls me eating her granola. Like the same shit, Carlos, that you were with 13 years ago.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me because, I mean, it's crazy, but it's a good crazy because it goes to show you that, yeah, she's the OG of New Jersey. She's one of the greatest housewives of all time. She was on Dance with the Stars. You have achieved so much success. A fucking Super Bowl commercial. You've done everything, but you are still the same old Teresa.
Two Super Bowl commercials.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Two Super Bowl commercials.
It's two, okay?
My bad. Not one bitch, but two bitches. Two Super Bowl commercials. But you are still the same Teresa from Patterson.
I am. Yes, I am. I didn't forget where I came from, and I never will. you know, like going to the MTV Awards was, you know, it was cool. But I never forget where Teresa came from. I'll always be down to earth. Like I don't act like I don't act like, oh, I'm Teresa. I'm a diva. No, I mean, I just act, you know, I act like I act like I want other, you know, like people to treat me, and that's how I treat them. Vice versa.
Yes. No, it's who you are. And that's how Melissa was able to see that. And you guys have this amazing podcast. So tell us, what is Namaste Bitches about? Because there's a lot of podcasts out in the world. And my listeners are huge fans of reality TV, but also pop culture. So you have a wide audience of listeners. Explain to them what Namaste Bitches is about and exactly what you two are providing for our listeners.
Do you want to go, Melissa, and then I'll go?
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, it's what we started. There's so much more. Why are we doing a podcast together? Why Teresa? I think there's so much people, don't know who I am unless they listen to my former or to my other podcast side piece. And then there's so much more to Teresa. Like there's so much more. The Housewives is a smidgen of her life. There's so much more to that. You don't know the behind the scenes and all this stuff, mom life, relationship, the everyday in and out, and just real life. Like the Housewives is not real life. It's real, but it's not real life, right? So what is the life like without the cameras, without the glam, without all this? That's what we're giving. Like being a mom, being in a relationship, health, working out, you know, all these things.
Life. Yeah. Life. I mean, of course, I'm always going to touch on, you know, if there's something out there in the press that I need to talk about, I have no problem always addressing it. Like when the season comes out, you know, of course I'll talk about Housewives, you know, like we'll give each other's opinion about what's going on in the other reality TV worlds. But I also want people to get to know the real me, the real Teresa. And like, we're going to take questions from, you know, from everyone that, you know, any questions that they want to ask us. Like, I want to get back on the podcast with you, Carlos, and, you know, and talk some more. Like, you know, and I want us to talk about life, like what's going on in the world. Like if you want to ask us an opinion about something, if we want to ask you an opinion about something, like, I think that's great because knowledge is power.
Do people know, you know, that there's 4 girls, Louis has 2 boys, what Louis deals with one of his sons with autism, how the 2 boys get along with her 4 girls. Like you guys, like nobody knows that, right? Does anybody know I have 2 kids under 5, that I'm a certified Stanford nutritionist, that, you know, all these things, right? So it's just glimpses into who we are, but that's relatable, real life, you know, real moms, real wives, all those types of things.
I love that. And you guys also have a tour coming up. So let us know about this tour. What can we expect? And how can people get tickets?
Okay, before that one, let's go back to one more thing about the Ultimate Girls Trip. Do you like Kenya? Is Kenya one of your girls?
Oh, she's one of my best friends.
Okay, so I love her too. And I love Kenya. She had my back against Ramona. So that girl, I have her back for life because Carlos, you know, nobody ever sticks up for me. And Kenya, yes. And Kenya had my back on the Ultimate Girls Trip. So I love, love, love Kenya. Anyway, Ultimate Girls Trip, it comes up again, like how Melissa got on the show, my sister-in-law. And again, it was her word against my word. And like, here's, you know, Cynthia Bailey and Kenya. And I was like, oh man, like I want to tell them, like Cynthia, I think she knows the truth because I sent her what you put out there with what was her name? Heather McDonald. Heather McDonald. And I didn't send it to Kenya. I wanted to, but I think Kenya, I think she knows what I'm all about. So again, on the Ultimate Girls Trip, it was brought up again.
It was.
And again, yes. And again, she lied. She lied again. And I was just like, I would have let this go a long time ago if she would have. Listen, and it's look, you see how the truth always comes out. And I did forget, you know, I mean, whatever. I don't care because they're not in my life anymore. And I'm really at peace now. Mm-hmm. But my thing is, if they would have said, like, if Melissa would have owned up to it a long time ago and said, you know what, I'm sorry, I did do that behind your back. You know, I did, you know, I was writing emails to Danielle. I was contacting your producers. I did put out the sprinkle cookie. thing on Facebook because, you know, I was trying to, you know, I wanted to get on the show.
Yeah.
And if she would have just admitted it to me, maybe back when it had like years ago, like when she first came on, maybe our relationship would have blossomed into something beautiful. But no, it was like that was their way to stay on the show by bashing me every season, which to me, I don't need family like that. You know, and then I thought when I met Louis, it was going to be totally different. I'm like, all right. And I was excited. I was like, oh my God. All right, fine. Joe's out of the picture. Let's see now if it changes with Louis. And then wait till everybody sees the next season. It's going to be freaking mind blowing. And I'm going to leave it at that. Yeah, I'm going to leave it at that.
And we're going to give a little more as our Philly Carlos. We're going to Philly. We're going next Thursday, the 10th of Philly. There might be some surprise guests, Carlos. There's always going to be some tea. Come on.
Yes.
So it's fun. It's going to be a night of fun. Again, more just like Namaste Bitches behind the scenes, fun, laughs, you know, some tea spillage and maybe some surprise guests. And that is Philly next Thursday, the 10th. And they can get tickets at access.com.
Yes, I love that. Okay, so before I let you ladies go, we got to take a trip down memory lane. Okay. So these are my favorite moments, Melissa Feaster, of me and Teresa working together seasons 1 and 2. I'm going to give you my top 3 favorite moments of all time of me and Teresa working together on the Real Housewives of New Jersey. You ready?
Ready.
Okay. Teresa, do you remember? This is one of my top 3 favorite moments. Number 3 is when
I love your laugh.
You chased Danielle down the country club hall. Do you remember how that came about, Teresa?
Yes, because she called me, she said she called me a bitch. No, wait, she said she called me honey, right? She's like, she called me honey. She's like, I was like, don't call me honey. And then she's like, whatever she said, and I said, well, is bitch better? Right? And then I said, is bitch better? And then she starts walking. Oh, and then she said my house was in foreclosure.
Yes.
And then I was like, and then she's like, and I'm like, come over here. And then I wanted to finish talking to her and she ran away from me. So then I started running after her because I was like, this is not going to end this way. Like my house is not in foreclosure. And like, you need to tell me like why you're saying this. So that's why I chased her.
You started it, but I'm going to finish it.
No, because I wanted to finish talking to her. Like, why are you saying this? You know? And like, she ran away from me. So that's why I chased her. You know?
Yeah, good memory. And
yeah,
Teresa, would you like Danielle back on the show?
Listen, she made great TV.
She's great.
She's great TV. And I'm glad that she finally spoke out and said the truth that Melissa was, you know, contacting her like season 2, which I didn't know. And Carlos, you know, when I pushed Andy, I didn't know that she got that from my sister-in-law that when Danielle said you didn't go see your nephew in the hospital. Yeah. I didn't put 2 and 2 together till like I swear recently. Yesterday. Like, yes, like, because I swear to God, you don't understand. It's been like, because you know what? I didn't want to think that my family did that to me. Like, I didn't want to believe it. And now, like all these, like the truth is coming out. Like what's it saying? Like like everything's like coming out. I can't explain it.
The skeletons are coming out the closet, out the bones.
Yes, that all the skeletons are coming out. It's like mind blowing to me. It's like both. It's like, but I really feel at peace because I got to the peace part already. But now that all the truth is unveiling, and it's like, because God wants me to be at peace. He really does.
And so do your parents. Your parents do too.
Yes.
Always you have.
Thank you, Carlos. My parents. Yes.
They're your guardian angel. And listen, I want the world to know I was witness to Teresa taking care of her mom and dad. And after we were wrap a scene, Melissa, your then husband Joe, who I still love, obviously.
Yeah,
hey
so
Joe.
yes.
Teresa and Joe would tell the crew, hey, stay over, have dinner with us. Let's sit at the table and talk.
That's
and
nice.
Melissa, every time we would wrap, it was mandatory that Joe would say, no, sit down, put the cameras down. Carlos, let the teams, because I was the boss. Carlos, let the camera crew stay and let's have dinner together. That's
amazing.
That's what the Guidices were at the home. And sometimes when your mom and dad were there, they would do the same thing. And I'm not going to cry, but they were so good people and they raised a good girl. And I want you to know that at the end of the day, your parents are smiling down on you and they want you to be happy. And sometimes, and I want the world to know this, and Kyle Richards is going through this on the Beverly Hills Housewives. Listen, in a perfect world, your siblings will always be in your life as best friends. But one thing I know for sure is sometimes you have to accept the fact that the person you grew up with no longer is the person that you remember.
Right.
And the only thing that you need to mourn is the loss of who that person was when y'all were growing up, and accept the fact that this person as an adult chooses to be this person. And I have to accept the fact that I don't recognize you anymore. And I am a grown person and I'm going to focus on my family and my own situation. So
Totally.
No,
You're right.
thank you.
That's a good
Look
point.
at me. Namaste, bitches.
Look
See,
at
I'm good.
We'll bring it all out,
Bring it
Carlos.
all out, Melissa. See, girl, I got something to offer
You made
too.
me cry, laugh. I love you, Carlos. Like, it feels so good to talk to you.
I love you. Okay, so
I love anybody else that loves my parents, because I miss them tremendously, and just hearing that brings back memories.
Yeah.
And I know you weren't at my wedding day, but Melissa was there when we were getting married, Louis and I. Like, I wasn't sure if it was going to rain. Carlos, I swear to God, when we said I do to each other, my psychic was in the audience. She's my friend. She circled it through the cloud. 2 ray of lights of sun were coming through it. And she sent it to me. Like, afterwards, she's like, your parents were there with you. Remember, Bliss?
Yeah.
And like, it was amazing. So they were there.
And that'll constantly happen too. You haven't noticed yet that your parents will remind you, whether it's a smell, a light, or a memory. So just know that, and I love them. Okay.
All right, go on.
Number 2 favorite moment is when you and Jacqueline stepped on grapes.
Oh, yes. And they never showed that.
No.
Oh my God.
It was so
Wait, Carlos,
fun.
can you get that clip? Because I would post that.
We gotta talk to Sirens Media, but
oh my God, they need to post that. That was an I Love Lucy moment. Yes, it was Lucy and Ethel. Yes, moment.
It was such a good moment. And do you miss your friendship with Jacqueline?
I mean, listen, our friendship was like amazing. It really was. Like, you remember when we stopped talking? It was like Melissa. It was like I got divorced. Like, I was getting divorced, like, from my husband, like from my wife, like my best friend. Like, it was really devastating to me. So, like, I wish her well, but I don't, we can never go back to where it was, because, unfortunately we just can't, because, but I do wish her well. I like no ill feelings or anything. That was the part of my journey back then. So, I mean, now I have Melissa. I have Melissa Feaster,
And we love Melissa Feaster, baby.
Yeah, and Carlos, I'm all about loyalty. I'm all
I know.
Loyalty
and that's why
is very big to me. So once it's like anything else, like once you break that loyalty, it's like, how do you go back to that? It's hard. I mean, listen, some people could, and God bless them. I'm just made little differently. I was born in the Godfather years. I was born in those years, and to me, I would never do that to someone. So I don't expect them to do that to me.
Okay. No, I get that. Okay. And number 1, obviously, my favorite moment is the table flip. We already talked about the table flip, but based on the fact that the table flip was season 1 and we had Teresa, Danielle, Dina, Caroline, and Jacqueline. So Melissa Feaster, I'm going to start with you, and then I'm going to start with myself, and we're going to end with Teresa. Melissa Feaster, name your all-time dream cast of the Real Housewives of New Jersey. If we had a legacy edition, past or present, name 5 Jersey housewives you would love to see in a show together.
Ooh. Oh, okay. Jersey only.
Jersey only, past or present. 5. Your dream cast.
Teresa. I would say, listen, from a producer, good TV, sure. Is it realistic? No. Good TV, Teresa, Caroline, Danielle, Jacqueline, and Margaret.
Okay.
Dolores.
Okay. Dolores. So wait,
6.
no Margaret.
No, 6.
6 Dolores. Okay. Here's mine, and Teresa, you go last. Okay, this is Carlos King's Dream Jersey Housewife cast, past or present. Teresa, Danielle, Caroline, Dina.
Oh, Dina.
And Jacqueline.
Oh.
I want the
Jacqueline.
I want the OGs back.
You want the legacy.
I want the OGs, and Melissa Feaster. I'm gonna say this to you, and Teresa, you do your list, and then we're done.
Mm-hmm.
Because as somebody who did the first 2 seasons, and Teresa can attest to this, it was natural.
Yeah.
It wasn't fake. It was super real. It wasn't an alliance about like we're gonna go against this person or it was so natural, and I will forever be grateful to Dina, Caroline, Teresa, Jacqueline, Danielle for 2 fucking years because they proved what a organic friendship, whether it's bad or good, but it was real reality TV. And my issue with some newer seasons of shows is a lot of people are playing to the camera, being fake, right, and they're playing to the audience versus being real in the moment. So I will have in my perfect dream cast, it would be the original 5.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Teresa. Your turn.
All right. You know what? I have to say, I'm going to agree with you because you know why? Season 3 on was just hell for me. It really was. It was like living in hell. It really was. So, and I didn't have fun. There was no fun at all. It's been so dark, and like a lot of people have been acting up on the camera, and I don't even like. My thing is, it's not what I ever expect a reality TV to be, because a lot of people act up for the cameras and do this and do that, but whatever, we don't want to get into that. So yeah, I would love the first
look at you guys.
The way we started season 1 and season 2.
Look at that.
And that. I mean,
with Carlos back as EP.
Yes, definitely. Yes, definitely Carlos back. Yes,
go ahead,
definitely.
Melissa Feaster,
and the best friend of Shimmy.
Yes, and we got Melissa Feaster as a friend of.
And then I want to add it to another thing. Remember, Carlos, when I said to you, I don't want to fight with my family, because I was seeing what was going on between Jacqueline, Dina, and Caroline, and it was about their family. And I was like, I don't want what's happening to them to happen to me. I was like, I didn't want that. And at least I didn't want to give Caroline props, but I will give Caroline and Dina and Jack, well, all of them, but it was more because Caroline was at the BravoCon. So I will give them props. One thing I have to say about their family, they never aired their dirty laundry out there.
No, and the fact that Caroline season 1 finale, when she told Danielle, I'm the one that brought the book up. Like at the end of the day, say what you want about the family, and I'm not here to say, whether it was true or not. That's not my place. What I will say is, at the end of the day, you saw families stick together, and
I love that. I love that.
I, as someone with 9 siblings, I love that too. Teresa, last question for you. You've been on the show for almost 15 years. How long do you see yourself continuing on Jersey?
Until the end.
Yeah!
Yeah! Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Guess what,
I'm
bitches?
not. Nobody's gonna scare me away. I'm gonna be. I started it. I'm gonna finish it.
Yes.
Oh.
As